Hello, welcome to Brap Life. This week's episode is my friend Darcee. She has a really incredible story, and honestly, I don't even know how to sum it up other than she's one of the most resilient people I've ever met. Um, she has been inspiring me not only with her story, but just in general. She's so supportive, and she's one of the biggest cheerleaders for women out there. I absolutely love her, and I haven't even met her in person yet. I can't wait until I do, but until then, check out our conversation that we had the other day, and I hope you guys are as touched by her story as I am.
Oh, hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you? Oh, I should clean my room.
You just have to strategically place your chair. It's fine.
I've been lazy.
That's okay. You've only been healing, so it's not a big deal or anything.
Well, I raced this weekend, so I came home Sunday night, and I did not move at all yesterday.
Which race was that?
It was the Red Rock 100 in Gallup, New Mexico.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, I missed a lot of people's stuff this weekend because I was running around in the woods in Idaho.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you go to that? Did you go to that race? You were watching a race?
The Silver Kings, the hard enduro. I was watching it. Yeah, my friend Leah. It was her birthday on Thursday, and she was also going to be racing. So I was like, might as well just go, right? So that was my excuse. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had a girls' weekend, so it was kind of awesome. Yeah, it was really cool. So I had a lot of fun. I'm having a ton of fun at all of these events now that I've been going to all different kinds. So it's been a really good time.
Yeah, I've been seeing you pop up on everybody's Instagram and stuff. It's like, I know her.
I know, it's weird, right?
That's cool. No, that's awesome. I love seeing it.
It's cool. It's a little weird for me still, but it's cool.
You're like a little celebrity.
Yeah, definitely not, but
you are.
No, it's cool to get the recognition that I've got a lot of people private messaging me telling me thank you for doing this. And then thank you for the pictures that I'm taking at events and stuff like that. And that's really cool. But I mean, this is all about you guys. This is about you, not me. So.
No, it's cool. It takes a lot of courage to do what you do and put yourself out there. So we love seeing it.
It does. It takes a lot of courage to do what we all do, though. I think dirt bikes is something that takes a special breed of person, right? And we're all just a little bit crazy, but it's the same kind of crazy. So it just works out.
Yeah, it is perfect. Wow, like-minded, very positive people that just love hurting themselves.
Awesome. Yeah, we all like a little bit of pain, I think.
Yeah. It's so fun.
Some of us more than others, because those hard enduro guys, man, they push themselves hard. And girls, oh my God, the ladies this weekend, freaking ridiculously amazing.
I bet.
Oh my God. Watching them, I got to see the pro women ride, they were inches away from me. And I was like, I want to be like that.
Yeah. Oh man. And they train and they're baddies.
Yeah. Sandra Gomez was here from Spain, and I've been watching her for years. And I was just she was right there.
Really?
Right there. And I was just this is so cool. I'm watching her she comes flying down this creek section and just she stops for a second, looks, and then she just barrels on through. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
That was crazy.
That's super cool.
Well, let's circle back real quick.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about your injury, but I want to talk about first, how did you get into riding? Because I don't really know that part of the story. So.
Well, when I was a little kid, I rode my best friend's dirt bike for 6 months. I was always at their house, and I would deliver newspapers to save up gas money to go ride, whatever. I was such a nerd. Well, she ended up getting like 3rd-degree burns on her leg, and my parents from the dirt bike. So my parents were like, "Nope, you're not doing it." They pulled me out. I was really good at cross country and track, so I was like all into that. So I stopped. And then, when you become a mom, you kind of like lose yourself a little bit. And I always wanted to go back to dirt biking forever. Like that was my obsession. Like I tried BMX racing, I tried skateboarding. It wasn't the same.
Wow.
And then I got the big C. I was diagnosed with cancer. I had stage 4 uterine cancer and I had breast cancer at the same time. And then, so when I was in the chemo chair, my husband's like, "Hey, you look awful." I was bald.
What a thing to say, though.
Like I was pretty positive throughout the whole thing, and like I lost my hair. I wasn't like I knew it was coming, right? I knew my hair was gonna be gone. But like no one really talks about the shock because it was like that realization I was sick. I was like, oh my gosh, I am sick. And I was given a year to live and just all that good jazz.
Darcee, I didn't know that part. Oh my god.
I had a rare cancer. It spread all through my lymph nodes and I thought my doctor was joking. I thought he was like, "You have a year to live." And I was like, "Okay." But it was true.
Oh my god.
So I kind of went through the whole ringamaroo. I love my doctor. I love my oncologist to pieces. He's been being an oncologist for 40 years. And he was like, "You need a second opinion. I don't know how to treat this. You need to go see someone else." And I was like, "Oh man, he's being real." So I went to Arizona and they were going to gut me like a fish. They wanted me to have a double mastectomy. They wanted me to have a radical hysterectomy with full lymph node removal and all this stuff. And I was just kind of like, anyways, fast forward. I ended up going to Lubbock. I went to UMC. I liked the doctors better, and my uterine doctor was a weirdo, and I just absolutely loved him. And anyways, fast forward. I was sitting in my chemo chair. Sorry. And my husband was like, "What will make you happy?" And I was like, "I'm buying a dirt bike as soon as I get my no evidence." And the day my doctor called me, I had my PET CT. And a week later, he's like, "I am so proud of you. You beat it. There's no evidence." And I went that day and I bought a dirt bike. So the rest is history.
That's incredible. When was that? How long ago was that?
I am 4 years cancer-free so far.
4 years. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Oh my God. That by itself is incredible. Because I knew that you had cancer, but I didn't realize it was that extensive.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. It was such a wild world trip because I was so used to taking care of other people, and like when it happened to me, I was in denial. I was just like, well, I work night shift because I worked at a mine. I was a firefighter at a mine, and so our shift work was weird. Like we would work days and then we go to nights, and I was like, well, I'm tired because of our shift work. And then I was like sleeping constantly. I would go into the mine and I would sleep for 12 hours. And I wake up and be like, I am still so tired. It was the weirdest, most draining thing. And I had some other things that, no one wants to hear about. And I was like, am I hitting menopause? So it took me about 6 months to finally go see the doctor. And immediately I saw a nurse prac and she's like, everything is dead. I don't even know what to do. She's like, you need to go see a doctor tomorrow. And I went to go see a surgeon and he's like, oh my gosh, it is everywhere. And I'm just all, well, then get it out. Just screw it.
Just do it.
And they're just like, this is much bigger than our hospital can handle. You need to go somewhere bigger. And then I went to a bigger hospital and he was like, I don't know how to treat this. Because then I had the breast cancer and the uterine cancer. And he's like, they fought for a couple months before my treatment happened because my tumor was too big. It was a volleyball size protruding through my uterine wall. And so if they operated, I was going to die. So they were all like, do we do radiation? Do we do chemo? I don't know what to do. So I did radiation first. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that like reduced it enough to have surgery, or?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I had 50 radiation treatments. I was super boosted. So for like the last 2 weeks, I was super boosted in my pelvic area. And radiation kicked my butt. I was so sick. Like chemo was so easy compared to my radiation. And I know everyone's different, but man, yeah. So it like shriveled down to about the size of a softball. And then they're like, okay, we're just gonna scrape everything out. And they took like organs that I don't remember what else they took out. They took out my cervix, my uterus. It's gross. And no one wants to hear about that.
I forget that not everybody is into this. I work in histology, so I work with like all the biopsies and stuff. So like when your stuff was all taken out, it went to a histology lab to like make sure that your margins were clear and that it was all gotten out and everything. So like that's what I do every day, but I forget not everybody thinks that that's cool.
That's cool. So, I wonder if one of mine floating around in your lab.
I mean, probably not up here, but in a histology lab, yes.
That's cool.
It's crazy. So for the people listening, you said you had a really rare version of this cancer. Like, what made it rare? Was it like the staging? Was it the type? Like,
yeah, it was the type. So I was stage 4B. It's uterine papillary UPSC. I have to like spell it out. Serous carcinoma. Uterine papillary serous carcinoma. And so like, you know what, it's like 10% of females get uterine cancer, and then like I'm 0.1% that got UPSC. And then they were just trying to pinpoint what gave me UPSC. So I was a surrogate for a family, and they're pretty sure that all the injections from IVF was from gave me cancer. Because it was estrogen positive.
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, but I was surrogate over again. It was, you know, it was awesome. I would do the cancer.
Well, you are an incredible person. I already knew that, but oh my god, now knowing all of this, it's like, holy crap.
No.
I don't know if you've looked at my face, but my mind is just like, whoa, okay, wow. So like breaking your leg is like nothing to you comparatively. You've been through so much.
I was pretty sad on the couch.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you knew that, like, I mean, so we talk in this podcast, we talk a lot about mindset. Like, kind of, you said you kept pretty positive, you know, even. Were you just like determined to get a bike and you were just like, I've got to make it, like I got to get through so I could get my bike, or like how was that for you?
I don't know what I was thinking. Well, you know, I have kids and my whole goal is to make sure they get out of high school and kind of are, you know, more independent from us. And I was like, man, if I pass away, our house will be like a bachelor pad. There'll probably be like beer signs hanging up. Our animals. So I was like, I gotta make it through. I live with all dudes and I work with all dudes. So like, I have to survive this. I don't even know what I was thinking. I was like, I thought it was fake the whole time, pretty much. I'm like, is this really happening to me? And then like, when you're done with cancer, no one really talks about the aftermath. Like, I was really kind of depressed, even though I had a dirt bike. But like, I'm not the same anymore. You know, I used to like, I was really fit when I got cancer, and I was like skinny and cute, and now I'm kind of like chunky because I'm in menopause and I cannot lose weight to save my life. And things
still
now,
cute.
But like, you know, you kind of mourn your previous life, and now even though I'm getting a little older, like I am tired, and I still, you know, I have lymphedema, so you know my legs are a little swollen, and just dealing with menopause and stuff, it's You don't want to deal with it before 40.
Getting older sucks.
I was just getting out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. You're dealing with it now, so you don't have to deal with it later when all the rest of us are, hitting it, and we're all going to be like, what's going on?
I'd be like,
You're going to be like, been there, done that.
fan for you. Some ice packs. But it was a kind of an interesting journey because I transitioned into dirt biking, and like going up to random people bald, looking like a scrawny alien. I was like, hi, I am a female and I'm trying to learn how to dirt bike ride. I'm like, okay, all right. But luckily everyone was super sweet and took me under their wing, and they were not nice to me even though I was bald. They were like throwing me into the deep end and immediately. I mean, everyone's been super sweet, so shout out to Hackberry.
So what was your first bike that you got then?
I had a KLX 230R.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. It was heavy.
I was just going to say that. It sounds like a heavy bike. So where did you start riding in the beginning? Were you like, you said they threw you into it. Did they just take you on a trail right away and just like, okay, here we go?
Yeah.
In the New Mexico desert.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I knew the clutch and I knew the basics.
Yep.
But the sand, wow. Immediate to sand. I didn't know how to do it. And if you talk to my
it's easy.
Yeah. Who are all these kids? This cannot be that hard. Oh, I was eating it left and right, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had pictures. I was like sickly thin too, and I was like struggling to pick up my bike, but at least I didn't have any sweaty hair.
That's always my issue. I can do what I want with my hair when it goes in the helmet, but when the helmet comes off, my hair is just all over the place doing whatever it wants. So that's
It's part of it. Beautiful.
Yeah, helmet hair is a good look.
Yeah, it is. Some girls carry it well. They take off their like Meg's brafts. Like, what?
I need to know like the hair like secrets, because I mean I suck at being a girl, so like makeup and hair and all that stuff is something I've learned like in the last few years, but I really suck at it. So if anybody wants to share those secrets, please do.
I know there needs to be a tutorial.
Yeah, we need to start a group for that. Just like pretty hair in a helmet or something.
I know. And they're all just braid it. Sister, when my braids come out of the helmet, is
so you have to know how to braid first.
Oh,
okay. I kind of know how to braid, and that's why my hair kind of looks like a mess. So I'm not that proficient at braiding. I didn't really learn that growing up. So my mom is great at it. My mom can do like French braids and all this crazy stuff.
Oh, cool.
But it like skipped a generation. So if I ever have a girl, maybe she'll be able to braid. But like my grandma can't braid, but my mom can. So I don't know. Like I literally think it's like every other generation.
Oh yeah. Your daughter will braid your hair.
One day. Or what else? But oh man, that's funny. So they took you out into the desert and they're just like, here you go.
Here you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Ted, if he's listening or if he watches this, specifically Ted, he took me on the south side of Hackberry, and and he also took me to Marathon. And Marathon, it's this little single track right by our house. It's like 40 minutes away, and it's just sand. It's just turn, and they're tight turns, and it's deep sand. And he's like, okay, we're gonna do it. Whoo! I could barely do a mile through it, and now I could do it twice. But initially, I don't know if I want to do this. TV makes it look so much easier. I was like, I did this for a couple months as a kid, no problem. But as an adult, I was struggling. Yeah, he took me on the south side of Hackberry. I fell in a hole immediately.
Oh no!
Yeah, he didn't like. I wasn't watching, but there's a drop on one side and a road on the other, and I just went boom right. I'm like, KLX just dropped about 4 feet. And that's probably like 2 or 3, but it felt like a 6 foot drop. But I was like, boom, right into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found a hole. And he turns back. He's like, you didn't see that hole?
No. Like, no, obviously. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But you survived it, and
Yeah.
you were just like, let's go again. Like,
yeah, I think that's what made him be like, okay, she's serious. She keeps getting back up. You won't die.
Well, I was gonna say, after your cancer and everything, I mean, you've shown your resilience. Now you just have to be able to, get stamina to be able to pick up your bike and everything. So, how long were you on that bike?
I grew out of it like in 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to Red Sands in Alamogordo with a bunch of side-by-side. It was a mixed group. Actually, I was the only dirt biker, and my kid was on the quad, and my KLX couldn't keep up, and I was gunning it. I was just like, oh, trying to pin it, and going up the hills. I struggled hard, and the guys were like, I think it's time for a real bike, and like, are you sure? So I just went and bought a 250 KTM, and the rest is history.
And you decked it out, and it's all pretty.
Oh no, that's the 3. I got 300. Then I traded the 250 in for 300.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was blessed. I was able to get another bike. So I have a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke. So I have the Husky 350 FX, and I have the KTM 300 XCW. So
awesome.
I love them both.
So out of all the riding that you do, like, what's your favorite? Like, if you had to go right now, what bike, where are you going, what are you doing?
I'll probably take the 4-stroke 350. I love that bike so much. I love desert. I love the fast. It's just, I don't know, you have to have good endurance to go far, and I think that's just the best, just wide open. Technical is cool. You just got to think a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I need to get more into technical, but right now the jam is desert.
Desert, fast, flowy.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Desert riding's a little different. I started riding in Minnesota, so I was like used to the trees, and then I went down to, I think New Mexico actually was the first place that I rode desert, and I was like, okay, there's no trees, but there's cactus.
Yeah.
So is it better or is it worse?
Oh, I don't have a lot of experience with trees, so I can't really compare. Like the most desert or forestry is in Texas, and there's some trees, but it's it's still Texas.
Yeah, we got to get you to some forest to see how you do there, because I know that when I go to New Mexico, you're gonna laugh because I am not good at sand.
Oh, it's just I don't know. Like, you're probably gonna kick my butt in all the technical stuff. It's just different riders, because we've had some Colorado girls come down and they're baddies. They're like super fast, and then we had some at Red Sands do the race, and they struggled in the sand. And I'm just like, you're an A-class lady that's fast. And like, we don't ride sand, so I'll just go look, put your butt back, and go for it when you feel that little squirrel,
At what point did you start racing then?
Oh my goodness, about 3 years ago.
Okay, so like almost right away.
Yeah. Let's see, we had the Gasset series, and what was like right when COVID was ending. I don't remember. It was kind of a blur. But I did a race. Actually, the first race I did was Gallup, and oh my gosh, I was way over my head. There was so many hill climbs and like side of the hills, and so you get the pre-ride in New Mexico, which is beautiful. And so I went on the pre-ride with one of the guys that I ride with in Carlsbad, and it downpoured rain, and I couldn't get any traction. We were up on this hill, and it rained hard for about 20 minutes straight. and the
Yeah.
mud was clay and deep, and I struggled getting up the hill. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am way over my head. I am still a very brand new rider. Well, then I saw an A-class rider. He's like, I'm struggling too. I couldn't get his
You're
bike.
like, oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, we can struggle together. So, Mark, who we call Sensei, he's an older gentleman I think he's in his 60s. Oh man, this guy can ride. He rode my bike up the hill. He rode the A-class guy up the hill. And he's like, come on, we got to go. So we finally got done with the ride, and all the arroyos were flooded, like up to the top. Like 10 feet of arroyo is flooded up to the top, and we're stuck on the trail. There's no way to get back to. We see the camp, can't get to the camp, and I'm freaking out. Like, this is it. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die here. My mom lives in Arizona. Oh, this is how I go. So we ended up like finding the landfill. We rode through the landfill, and we finally got back to camp. It took us 3 hours to pre-ride, like 22 miles. And the next day I'm like, I don't think I could ride. That's way out of my league. And no, I did it. I got first.
Wow. That's awesome. And that was your
I was the only female.
well, you still got first. So
oh, it was crazy. Yeah, and then looking back this weekend, I was like, dang, I struggled hard 3 years ago on this trail, but look what dedication.
But look where yeah, exactly. Look what you can do now. Look at the stuff that, I mean, I've seen the stuff that you ride, and that's really funny. I almost died laughing when I realized that I knew you on Facebook from TikTok, because I had been watching your TikToks, and I was just like, this lady's awesome. I was like, I absolutely love these, and it was so much fun. And then I think I met you in like the women's dirt bike support group.
Oh yeah.
And we started talking on there, and like you added me, and I was like all excited. And then I realized who you were, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is so cool. I've been following you for like ever. And it was just like,
thank you so much.
it was the coolest thing. And then like, you're you, and you're awesome. And it was just like so cool. And then like now it just hasn't worked out any of the times that I've wanted to come down, but like, you're really close to like my family, so it's gonna happen eventually. I'm gonna be able to come down.
Eventually, when my kids are growing up a little bit, I'm gonna venture out of the state.
Yep, and I can take you on tours and all these places that I'm visiting, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But it's just so funny.
I know when you sent me, you're like, "Oh, I'm your fan," and I was all. I like cried. I teared up, and I showed my husband. I'm like, look how sweet she is. And he was like, who's a fan of you?
He's so nice.
You married me. I'm like, this was like the coolest thing that anyone's ever said to me. Like, oh,
well,
like
it's so cool. You're so positive, and like it's so. Like I was looking for, anyone who was a female and who was riding. Didn't matter if they were pro or not. Like I said, I've been watching Sandra Gomez forever, but she's way over there. And that's not helping me way over here. And so it was cool to find somebody in a place that I knew. It wasn't Minnesota, but I know New Mexico. I've hiked there a bajillion times, and I've run there and everything. So I have a tattoo.
Oh, we're official.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful.
Because my family lives there, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, this girl's she's from here. She's really cool. She's doing the thing. And like, it's just like I was telling Micaiah, it was cool because you're real about your riding. You're not just showing the highlight reel. You're showing your falls and, getting, like, for me, it's like getting lost and things like that. Like, I need to know that other people do those things to feel better about it, because as I was starting to venture out on my own, that was really scary. It's like, man, the only people that I'm seeing online are all these badass chicks who do everything perfect.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
that's not the reality.
That's not me. So yeah, it was, like, I still think you're badass. Like, I've told you that before. Like, I think it's so cool that you do all these races, and you just like push, you push, you push. And it's freaking awesome. But like I was just like, I could do that too. That's
You
awesome.
can. Oh yeah, I could do it. Anyone could do it.
Well, that's what I feel like. I'm like, man, if I had somebody this last weekend was talking to me at one of the races, and she was just like, yeah, she's like, I don't really ride like that. She's like, I ride like in the backyard, and she's like, I don't think I could ever race. And I'm like, you'd be surprised what you could do. Like, I literally went across the country for my first hare scramble. So I went from Minnesota to Arizona, and I did a hare scramble down there, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm gonna do it. And I did it. And if I could survive that and make it through, then anyone can do it.
And how was it? How did you like Arizona racing?
That was the Copper Classic. So last year, so 2023, and it was amazing. Oh my God. Other than the fact that my clutch was dying and I didn't know that on my bike. So I had some like issues, and I was like, I swear I ride better than this. So I was struggling a little bit, but it was a lot of fun and the most gorgeous sight around. Like as you're like riding through the desert. So you're like low in the valley, but all around you is like white capped mountains because it's in March. So it's like just absolutely the perfect weather to ride in. And I was just like, this is absolutely amazing. I actually have you can't see it on camera. I have a scar on my arm that runs like the length of my arm because there's these giant thorns on one of the bushes out in that part of Arizona. And I took it to the arm, and it just completely scraped up my jersey. So that's my mark for San Manuel.
Did you get a little cactus tattoo off of it?
Yeah, I should. Just a little prickly guy right here.
Yeah, that'd be super cute.
But that was crazy. I had ridden in on the way to that race. We stopped in Las Cruces or right outside of Las Cruces, and we rode in the desert out there, and it was so cool, but I was just like super nervous about the cactus. But then I didn't realize that New Mexico has these super awesome like canyons that pop out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
So we were riding, and all of a sudden canyon. And I was just like,
yeah, just a hole, you know.
It's not a big deal. It's like a 5 foot.
Just get in there. Those canyons are cool though. I love riding in canyons. Especially at night. Oh, have you not night rode yet?
I have not done night riding yet. So that kind of super scares me. But again, I'm mostly in places with a lot of trees. Mm-hmm. So if I was out in the desert, I don't even know. I don't even know if I could finish that statement because I don't know if I'd feel any better about riding in the desert because I feel like there would be like a cactus that pops out of nowhere and I'd be like,
yeah, it is. It kind of gets spooky. You should do the Gut Buster with us one year. It would be so fun. Have you heard of the
Gut Buster? What is the Gut Buster?
It's a 24-hour race. Usually there's one in Alabama or somewhere, Mississippi, somewhere, but there's one in Texas that we do every year. Mm-hmm. I've done it 3 years in a row. It is so fun. So past year we had a team of 6 ladies and just, oh my gosh, it was so fun. We were probably the old team with the most oldest ladies. The other girls that beat us were young buckaroos, that could stay up all night. But oh, it's so fun. So we each rode a couple times during the day, and then nighttime hit, and it's like a whole new track. You're like, I know I rode this earlier, but totally different, a little spooky. But I love the Gut Buster. I want to do another one. You should come one year.
When is that? Like what?
Oh, it's usually in November, and then I have another one in Arkansas. I don't know, Alabama, somewhere around there. And then it's like spring, summer for them.
That seems like the worst places to have a summer ride. So like Arkansas and Alabama, anywhere in that is like super humid and super hot.
Yeah,
like, in the summertime.
I know, and I think it's called Perry Mountain. And they do a 24-hour. And they said one of the guys who runs Perry Mountain came last year to the Gut Buster, and he stated that these Florida girls just come out and just kick everybody's butt. And I was like, I want to see the Florida ladies. I want to see them just completely beat my butt.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, so we got to find these Florida girls and get them to come to the one in Texas.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'll come to the one in Texas. If it's in November, I actually might be able to do that.
Oh, yes.
We'll talk about that offline. But
Okay.
why am I'm getting myself signed up for too many things now.
That's all right. Life short. Do the gut buster.
It sounds super fun. It just sounds like a lot of death. But I mean, night riding seems so cool when it's not in scary places. I don't know. I think the woods at night are very scary.
Yeah.
I did not grow up with that. So like to me, the desert at night is kind of scary, but like I can survive that. For some reason, I'm just like of the mind that I can't survive a night in the woods. Like something's gonna eat me. So
Bigfoot's gonna come out.
Yes, and especially up here. That's like a big thing up here. Like
really?
Bigfoot is everywhere. So
wow,
it's weird, but
that's cool.
Anyway, is it? I don't know. I was like riding by myself and I saw something off in the woods and I was like, is it? No. And then it was a deer and I was like, okay. See, this is why people get all crazy though. They're like, oh, I saw something. It's because the deer had something like on its head. So I don't know what it was, like a tumor or something. But it looked weird when I first saw it when I was riding. I was like, what the? So yeah. There's weird things in the woods, but the desert, not so much. So I think I could handle desert riding at night, maybe until I hit sand, and then it's sand and day or night would just be terrible.
Just gun it. Just throttle it out.
Just gun it. Do it. So now that I've gotten myself all off track.
There you go.
So when you're getting ready for races, like, what do you do to get ready? Do you just like you're such a badass that you up and go?
I just like pretty much.
All right.
Yeah, so this weekend was pretty rough. So I work as a firefighter, advanced EMT, and our shifts are 48 hours. And so I was moved to Station 2. Station 2 is our busiest station. And I did not sleep. We did not sleep at all. It was just from Thursday from 2 a.m. up until Saturday morning till 5:45, which we get off at 7 in the morning. It was every hour on the hour, just call after call after call. It would not stop. So I had my, I brought my camper, my little, it's not a camper, it's an enclosed trailer, because usually if I'm going by myself, I have a little trailer to myself that I sleep in and stuff. So it was all ready to go. And I was like, oh, I can get it'll be calm. It'll be cool, collective. Heck no. I get off at 7. I'm already frazzled because I'm like, oh my gosh, we just ran like an awful tour. I'm exhausted. I have to drive 7 hours. Well, it was like 6 hours. Try to beat it before pre-ride because they close pre-ride at 1 o'clock. So I have like this 6-hour drive leaving at 7. I was like, I just got to go. And I made it. I made it at 12:30. And I just like dropped my trailer, dropped my bike out, no mental prep. Because usually I'm like, okay, let's just take it easy. You're coming off from an injury. Like, don't be stupid. Yeah, I just like dropped my trailer, threw my bike out, put on my motoralls, and I was like, here's $20. Like, and I made it by like 12:58. I was on the trail. I was just like, but normally, for races, I like to get there a day before the pre-ride, and it's so fun. So the New Mexico series, everybody is super friendly. Usually, like Friday's the party night, and everyone's out with bonfires and cooking, and everyone's roaming from camp to camp, and I love that. The social aspect of it. And then like Saturday, we're pre-ride. And every club does something different. You pre-ride, you kind of rest, and some days, some clubs they'll do games, some will do like this weekend was a barrel race. we have like trick-or-treating when it's closer to October, and then it's quiet by 9 o'clock on Saturday night, and then it's race day Sunday. But I don't really prep a whole lot. I like to sleep. Nothing crazy. I went after my bikes. I was gonna ride my 4-stroke for this race, and I dropped my skid plate, and there was coolant all up in there. I have not been riding my 2-stroke at all. So I was like, oh my gosh. And my husband's like, well, just tighten it, Oh, he's like, oh, the gasket's bad. I can rebuild you a makeshift one. Nope. Yeah, we have to build the whole water pump fuel whatever system. So
wow.
So I got the 2-stroke out. She was not pressed. It was good. Actually, I'm really happy I brought her because it was very a lot of turns. It was super muddy. Some good technical rock areas, and I'm glad I had the 2-stroke because it was lighter. But yeah, that was this weekend.
That's awesome. It's so funny. I've talked to people who like, some people just do what you do. They just go on the weekend and they don't really like, I'm going to race. That's cool. That's whatever. And then some people are like the whole week leading up to the race, they're like doing this thing and this thing and this. I mean, everyone's at different levels, right? Like some people are doing it like super competitively, and some people are doing it because of the experience. And I think it's just really cool to see like the different aspects, because sometimes, especially talking to like younger women, they think every time that you're going to go race, it means you have to be super competitive. You have to be trying to win. And that's really cool if that's what you want to do, but not everybody's racing because of that. Like I raced for the experience because when I was growing up, I never did anything like that. And, so I didn't grow up playing sports and things like that. So to me, like, this is my opportunity to get to, participate in things like that and just kind of be around it. And like you said, the social aspect as well. But for me, it's also kind of a safe way to explore a new place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
for
makes
real.
sense.
No, it does.
Yeah. Like, and so that's kind of why. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's like a safe because everything's marked and there's sweepers and there's people out. And I totally get. That's why I like to race too, because normally it's just easy to go down to Carlsbad and ride, or to Roswell. And I like to go explore more often. It's kind of an excuse to be like, oh, I got race kids. Bye. And it is nice. And you get to meet a whole bunch of different people that usually, like, in New Mexico, we have our majority of the time the same group of women that ride. But like this last race, we had a new girl, which was exciting. Of course, we bombarded her. One of my good friends, Lindsay, and we have nicknames for each other. And she is 2-stroke Tina, and I'm 4-stroke Fonda. And we're always like, 2-stroke Tina, how are you? Well, the girl racing was Tina. There was and it was so funny. And I'm like, hey, 2-stroke Tina's racing. And Lindsay's like, yeah, I am. I was like, no, a real Tina is racing. And she's just sitting there like, are you for reals? Like, 2-stroke Tina's right here. Real life. Yeah. Poor Tina. We embarrassed her.
Oh, poor kid.
Got on the podium. We're like, 2-stroke Tina, we're proud of you. So we gotta find a new name for Lindsay.
That's awesome, though. I love that you're just so supportive of women in general. Of everywhere I've seen you in the Northwest Women's
oh my gosh, those girls are cool.
I cannot say that right now. I don't know why.
With women.
Yeah.
And you were posted on them.
I know. It was crazy, right? That was so cool. I know. I was like, what's happening? It was it was really, really cool. Well, even with Tex-Mex Moto, like I was featured on that, and I was just like, me? You want me? Like, you want to know about me? Like, what? And that was so cool. Like, I think that the communities, I mean, you guys are based in the Southwest, and they're based northwest, and I don't know who takes care of Northeast, but we need to start something because
Yeah.
there's not very many women that ride out here, and
Yes.
it's ridiculously hard to find other people.
I see
But
your
I think
struggles.
it's really cool to even though I'm on the other side of the country, to see that camaraderie, to see you building up all these women that you were riding with this weekend. You know, you're shouting them out, you're showing that they're doing podiums and just like the rider spotlights and things like that. I love seeing that. That's like super motivating to me because it's just like it's exactly what we're doing here. It's sharing more stories. It's sharing more of why people got into things and like, you know, where they're at with their riding and what they like. And maybe somebody talks about something and you're like, what the heck is that? And you go look it up and you find a new discipline or something, you know? I mean, that's kind of like how I found out. I didn't know what GNCC was, and then somebody said it, and I was like, "What is that? I don't know what that is." Like, somebody would fill me in. So, you know, and I just like I've been learning about all this stuff in the last couple of years, and there's a lot to learn when it comes to dirt bikes. First of all, about the bikes themselves. Each bike is different, and then you have like 2-stroke, 4-stroke. You have all of the different disciplines. You have like which bike is best for what thing and what kind of terrain. And oh my God, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be like super overwhelming. I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, and I'm still like looking stuff up constantly. I mean, there's some baddie women out here that like I look up to you and Catherine and Lacey and what like really got me started in the Tex-Mex was Angelisa Edwards. I don't know if you follow her.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I love her stuff. And
She's awesome.
she was really like my biggest inspiration. Like, oh, she's doing it. Why can I like support women down here? There's like 2 other women that ride in my area out of all these dudes. I'm like, we need to get something together because we see the Colorado ladies, the Arizona ladies, the Utah slugs. What are they? The Utah moto ladies, the Northwest Woods. I mean, they have a great group, and it is hard to get off the ground, but you know, if one person's inspired to come out and ride with us, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And even so, like we've talked about, you know, like I said, we've talked about getting together and riding for what, 2 years now. Sorry.
No, you're good. Life happens.
But it's so inspiring to me, even being so far away, like having all of these groups of women who can get together, just seeing women ride with other women. It's just so cool to see that kind of support and know it's out there. It might not be in my area, but I can post my little reel of me going through a mud puddle or my friend going through the same mud puddle. And, you know, we're at our little, like, you know, low end because we're still learning. But
low end.
But well, I don't know what the right word is, but you know what I mean. Like we're still learning, we're new, and it was just like we were going super slow. It was kind of sketchy because it's like super slippery, but like everything else before you get to the puddle is not slippery, so it's like really deceiving. And then the puddle actually ended up being a lot less deep than I thought it was. So like I was like, I'm gonna go through first and then we'll see how it is. And then I went through it like all fast, like I was gonna really need to be fast. And I was like, oh, just kidding. Like that was like nothing. But then the other puddle that I thought was gonna be nothing, I ended up falling in. So I was like,
oh no.
Right, cool. I mean, it wasn't like a super deep puddle. I mean, but the bike was not in the puddle.
Oh, good. Your bike said no thanks.
Yeah, it just kind of dumped me off, and I was like, cool.
Nice.
But you know, it was really cool that like I could post those reels and like so many women were just like, this is so cool. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. You guys are awesome. Keep going, ladies. And I'm like, yes, this is it. This is it. Like, this is awesome. Because, you know, I have a lot of guy friends and they're really good riders. And they're like, hey, you should do this with your body positioning. And I'm like, I understand that I need to do those things. I'm working on it. But can you just be excited that I made it through the thing? Like I made it over a big ass rock hill or, you know, whatever it is. And it's just really funny. But I had this big rock that I was like failing on. And when I was in Arizona before coming out here, and I kept failing on it and I did not make it. And I had like 8 guys message me and be like, hey, so you need to do this next time. And I'm like, cool, thank you. I appreciate that. But like, I know it's a timing thing. I know what I need to do. But that bike was brand new. It wasn't set for me for the suspension. Like, there was all these factors. But like, not trying to make excuses because I know I have a lot to learn, but like there's just something about women that we just like automatically support each other. And it's just like, even if you have something constructive for criticism, you're still going to be like super excited for the other woman because they're out there trying, they're out there doing it. And you know what that's like to you know, not have that support sometimes, or you've heard the stories and it's just like, no, we need to build other women up because we want women to grow in this sports. Like we want to see more women at the races. Like we want to see more badass women out there. Like,
please, I will give you $5.
yeah, like come out, come on.
Oh my gosh, I know it's so hard because a lot of women I talk to, they're like, well, I can't do it. I'm not confident. And I was like, but why? What if you just like, I'll go ride with you. I got a little smaller bike, like that you can put your feet down. How can we get you from wanting to ride to on the bike? And you know, I get it, like family life, it's hard with kids, you know, working and all this stuff, but I'm like, how can we get you to come ride? I will bring everything for you. Just bring yourself. Don't pay me any money. How, like, that's what I want. I want women to feel confident, and it is hard with males. I do love the dudes I ride with, but it is a different type of atmosphere riding with women. You're right, all the small little things, the ladies see it and they're like, the dudes mean well. I love you guys so much, but sometimes it comes in harsh, just like, why weren't you doing that? Well, I was focusing on not dying there. All right. So, like, I'm a little scared. I'm a scared cat. I'm a lady.
Well, I think it highlights like all the psychology behind, you know, like how women talk to women, how men talk to men, and how we have in the history of people always had issues talking to each other. Yes, maybe there are some people who are fantastic at speaking to their spouse or their significant other or whatever, but overall, men and women discussing things are just different. We have different ways of doing it. When you're telling me how to do something versus my best friend who's a guy who's telling me how to do the same thing, it's going to be 2 completely different ways. And sometimes my buddy just isn't going to explain it very well. He's just like, all right, so just pull on the thing and then, you know, do the thing and then, you know, do the other thing with your foot and then, and then you do it. It's like, okay. But what am I doing and when am I doing it? Like, I need to know, well, you just do it. And it's like, okay, I wasn't born with this innate ability to just like pop wheelies, you know? I just can't, like, just do it. All right,
just
cool.
Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Oh, yeah, it's true. This weekend we had a newer rider, and we were coming down this hill. Well, luckily I bumped into them, but she was riding with a dude, and I was, you know, doing my own thing because it was late. And she abruptly stopped going down this hill, and it is kind of sketch when you're new because there's a little rock ledge. And then it drops down, and she's like, I can't do this. I'm like, oh, yes, sister, you can, because I just saw you do a bunch of hard stuff. And he's like, just come down here. Come on, you got it. And I was like, hold up. Like, let her think for a second, because this is very intimidating. Like, I'm a little intimidated. I was like, look at that bush right there. You see that bush down? Okay, look straight at it. Don't look at this little mumble jumble. Look straight down. Put your butt down a little bit, like you're kind of stopping yourself, and go. You got it. And she was too scared. But, you know, she's like, I like that explanation. Then just come down here. Like, you guys, like, the biggest thing is just look up. Pick a not scary object, look at it, focus, and then look ahead. and and look at something else. I was like, you just let the bike do the work. And she was like, oh, I so appreciate it. It was so nice of her. I hope I was like, I'm not trying to come out mean or like do it this way, but I was like, this helped me overcome some of the obstacles when you just pick something not scary to look at. And but she kicked butt. Oh my gosh. She was going up rocks, going down rocks right after that. I mean, like a pro. I was like, look at you, awesome. Freaking kicking butt. I'm doing it. Like, you're doing it. Oh, I'm so proud of her. So I'm excited to hear rides more.
Yeah. See, and I love the celebration. Like, and some guys are really good at it, right? Like, but when you're new, and I think a lot of guys, at least the ones that I know, have been doing this for such a long time. They've been riding for 15, 20, 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they forget what it's like to be new and to, you know, like you make it past something and you're like, all right, cool. And, you know, for me personally, it really helps build my confidence. And I'm just like, look at the thing that I just did. And I mean, to, you know, some people have maybe like, that was like a pebble. But okay. But to me, you know, it's a big thing. And the fact that 2 years ago, I was barely getting 4 hours of seat time. And, you know, I couldn't do any of this stuff. And then even last year on Gary, the little snail, my little TTR, you know, I put that thing through the ringer, man. Oh my God. But he made it through a lot of stuff he probably shouldn't have. You know, I was determined. Like, I just wanted to do this whole riding thing. And I had so many women who were behind me and supportive and pushing me. And when I upgraded the bike, I was so scared to go to a 300. I was like, I'm going to kill myself on this thing. And so many of you guys were just like, no, you've got this. You can totally do it. And then I got the bike and it was way too big. And you guys were just like, you've got this, you've got this. And it was just like that constant like support. Like, yes, I had a lot to learn. Yes, I'm still working on my body positioning, my clutch control, like all of these things that I know I need to do that just keep adding up because there's the 1,000 things you need to learn. But having that support is crucial. When you're a kid, and you're learning how to ride, you have your parent or your coach or whoever there, and they're constantly giving you feedback. As an adult, when you're learning to ride, you don't always have that. A lot of the times you're on your own and you're like, I don't know if I did that right. Like, did anyone see that? Like, anybody? You know, you don't get that feedback. Whether it's good or bad, you don't have that. And so I think it's really, really important to give support, whether it's a guy or a girl, anyone who's new. Anyone who's new at riding. You know, I've seen some posts of some guys recently who got on a bike for the first time, and just having someone supportive there telling them good job makes a huge difference. Yeah. And it's so true. Cool. I love seeing people get on bikes, especially for the first time, guy or girl. It makes me so happy.
Sometimes in those like both the genders are in that dirt bike community, those men tear those other men apart. Sometimes like come to the women's side because we're like, whoa, you're doing it. I'm like, there's no need for hate. You were new at one point, being a child, you're right, or an adult. And it is you have to grow into it. So much to learn. And some of those dudes are mean. I'm like, did your mom not hug you? Or you're like, come on, life's too short to be like that.
Yeah, most of the guys, thankfully, that I've met are really, really great. But those couple that are not make a really big impression.
They really do.
And unfortunately, that's an experience that I've heard time and again, talking to so many women who do this. You know, it was a bad experience. And again, not everybody has that. Thankfully, there are some really amazing dudes out there who work really hard to help women and you know, support women. And it's really, really cool to see that. But I just think that bringing awareness to the fact that we are different and we learn different. And I think that there's mountains of psychology paperwork out there that supports that. And, you know, as long as we're aware of it and we're bringing awareness to it, you know, I think that's cool. That makes me happy because I know that hopefully another woman won't have to go through the experience that I went through, where it was just like, oh my God, stop screaming at me because you're telling me what to do so I don't go over the cliff, but my bike's on, your bike's on. I can't hear you. And all I hear is you yelling. Like, that's stressful. And so that was yeah, exactly. Like, I know I'm about to go over the cliff, but I don't know what you're saying. Like, I thought you said go, and that is not what you said.
You said so no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. We have to work on the things that we're allowed to say on the trail. But that was a long time ago. It's fine. I'm over the traumatic experience mostly.
Want to talk about it? Oh, dang.
No.
That's how I feel sometimes too.
It does, but more often than not, there's been dudes who, during the last race that I did, I fell and my chain came off of my bike. Like, I don't know what happened. I just literally tipped over and the chain was just off, and I was like, huh, okay, what do I do now? Because I was actually riding really well for me. I was not the last person, and I was so proud of myself. I was making it up all of these hills that I hadn't made it up before, and I was just like super excited. And then that happened, and like all of these people were passing me, and I was like, I was just deflating as it was happening. And this one guy stopped and he's like, hey, do you need some help? And I was like, yes, please. And he was really cool. He was even telling me what he was doing. So if it happened again, I would be able to fix it myself and not have to wait for somebody. So I thought that was really cool because a lot of times, you know, people will just do something and then they'll be like, oh, I'll show you later, or, you know, whatever. But on the trail, I mean, it was a race. So, you know, the guy like took off and it was great. It was cool. I was very happy that he was like, go do your race, dude. Like, but it was so cool. And every time I've fallen in any race, people always stop. And I think that's really awesome, you know, and it's most of the time it's guys because that's just who the majority of the race is guys. But I think it's really cool that like when a guy, you know, is trying to go for points or whatever. Oh, that's what it was. It was, I was getting lapped at the hare scramble. That's what it was when I fell. And, he was lapping me, and that's why he was like an A rider behind me because he wasn't actually behind me. I was way behind him.
Okay.
I don't remember which race it was. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. Okay. Anyways, my point is, guys can be great. They're not always bad, but women are fun to ride with when you're a woman. Like, it's true. Like, it's true. Especially when you're learning. When you're learning, it's just an easier atmosphere to learn in. Most of the time. Not always, but most of the time.
And I feel like with new riders in an all-female aspect, like you're a little bit more comfortable. You're more prone to like just fall because everyone's right there. You don't feel like you need to impress the guys. I don't know why we need to impress them, but where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. I just
left one.
I love like when really good riders have new riders with them because the ladies like slow down and they're like, hey, we're all going to ride together. We're all going to push you. And if you don't mind, we're going to give you some pointers. And I think that's the beautiful part about having a good mix of group of riders, different levels, just how cool the women don't have egos, super chill. Like, we're all going to do this together and we're going to push you. Like we did that like unofficial women's ride in January, and we had a really good turnout, and we had a good group of different riders. Everyone was different levels. We had a bunch of woods riders, we had desert riders, but we all stuck together. We did not let anyone, you know, the slowest rider wasn't really that slow because we all waited for him. Like I was usually in the back, and we had someone before they turned stop, and we all would group up together. We'd all like, oh, you're doing awesome. And then we And when that newer rider was like, thank you so much for waiting for us. Like, it's more fun to do it together and, struggle together. More stuff together. Like, I love it. And I hear all the women like, I had a great time. Even though it wasn't like my pace, like we had a blast. And I think that's the beautiful part about women. Take notes, men.
Yeah. Well, I think, being traveling so much this year, I've been kind of on my own for a little bit and riding by myself in the last couple years, actually. In Minnesota, North Dakota, and now here in Maine, just riding by yourself is just a completely different experience. While it's really cool and it builds confidence, it makes me really appreciate all the people that I was riding with even more. And like, I realized that I wasn't pushing myself as much. And like you said, like, it's cool to have like a mixed group because you can push yourself to kind of try, not necessarily to like keep up, but if you're going through a different section, that there's people to fall back on if you can't make it through something, but you can push yourself. You've got people there who can help coach you, or who can help pick up your bike if you drop it. Most of us get like, I can pick up my own bike, which is great, but when you've dropped it 57,000 times, you can help me pick it up, please.
Yeah. And that's what, like, newer riders, I'll be like, do not pick up your bike. I know you can do it. You don't have to show me, but like, you need to rest for a second, gather yourself up. It's not a big deal. Pick it up, drink some water, chill out. And I hope they don't take offense to that, because I'm like, you need to rest. Like, I was there just a few years ago. Trust me, just take a break. I want you to take the break. And I don't know if people take offense to it when I'm like, hey, just chill out.
Yeah.
For you. But,
well, I think it just depends on the person. Like, some people are super competitive, and so they're gonna, really push, and they're gonna want to just do things like super perfect all the time. But I still think that being in a group, like a mixed group, is a lot more helpful, even with people like that. Because it just helps them, like, they're probably not the best in the group, or if they are, they don't have anyone to compete with, so they're going to chill out. And, if they aren't the best in the group, then they have people who they can kind of compete with and, push themselves forward. And they're not like trying to compete with anyone who's like lower level than them. You know what I mean? Like, so they're not intimidating somebody. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool to have a group. I miss riding with people. My friend came, she was here last week, and that was so cool. She and I are fairly similar for our like riding ability. I just have a little bit more experience in different terrain. That's more like what we have here. So it was really cool though. Like, I know that she's not comfortable with downhills, and so like there was some pretty rocky downhills. Not anything super, super crazy, but it was definitely like, all right, you're gonna practice your downhills today. So
going to learn.
It was really cool because she didn't even flinch. She was just like, I'm gonna go at my own pace. And I was like, yep, no problem. And we just went, and it was just such a good time. Oh my god, I miss it.
Cool. Oh, so is there a lot of riders in Maine, or is it just kind of?
There's a lot of ATV side-by-side people. There's a lot of trails for that. Not a ton of dirt biking that's marked, at least, because in Maine, you register a dirt bike as an ATV.
Really?
So I'm having a hard time telling what trails are what. Like, I haven't found any single track here yet. Apparently it's out there, but it's like, I don't know. I can't get anyone to tell me. Like, they're like, oh yeah, it's out there. If you go to this area, it's out there. And I'm like, okay, but where? Like, I can go to the middle of the state, but that doesn't help me. You know what I mean? Like, where in the middle of the state? There's a lot of things in the middle of the state. And the one guy was just like, yeah, you just go out and you just, you find it. And
it's my husband.
He's like, I heard you talking about men.
Men. I'm sorry.
But yeah, this guy was like, yeah, you just go out and, you find a spot and there's single track right there. And he's like, or you can make your own. And I was like, everything I've read says don't make your own. But okay. And he's like, no, you can just like go between the trees. Like they're spaced far enough apart. And I was like, okay. I guess I'm sticking to the side-by-side trails then, because I don't know what's, I don't know if there's a rock or whatever underneath all that foliage. Like there's a lot of undergrowth in the forest here. So like even on the trails, like there's just like gnarly roots everywhere.
Ooh.
So like all of the uphills aren't just straight uphills. It's all roots and rocks. And so it's really taken a lot of getting used to, because in Minnesota there's some of that, but it's not like here. I mean, it's incredible. Like I rode in Georgia and I've ridden in North Carolina, but none of them have the amount of roots that stick out of the ground like here. And so that's really been kind of weird for me, because like sometimes they're slippery and sometimes they're not. And I haven't been able to like figure out a determination. It's just random. It's not like one type of tree, at least not that I can tell. I don't know. I'm not good at telling trees apart. But I don't know. It's a learning process, but I haven't fallen yet because of the roots. I've just kind of gotten bumped around a little bit, but I am getting a lot better about going through them. So,
fast.
Eventually, hopefully.
No, you're growing so much. From Gary.
I wish specifically.
Just like the beginning of your journey, what I've seen, to now you're rocking Maine, and you're gonna be awesome.
Trying. But yeah, I'm just excited. Like I love riding, so wherever I am, I mean it's really cool to just be with my bike, and I'm learning it. It's starting to hit that point where I've got like I'm almost at 20 hours on it now. And like that to me is just like a nice little milestone. It's just like we've had some growing pains, but it's starting to get to the point where I'm feeling really comfortable. And when I was out with my friend last week, she's like, I saw you. And I was like, what? She's like, I saw you counterbalancing around those corners. And I was like, I did what? Because I didn't really like, I kind of was thinking about it a little bit, but I didn't think that she was going to notice like behind me. I didn't think that I was like looking like I was doing it. Like that's my thing, is usually because I'm so small and it's such a big bike, I have a hard time getting into the right body positioning, because I don't sit very far high off the seat, because my legs are so short. So sometimes those hill climb videos that I have, I don't post, because I'm like, it looks like I'm sitting down because my legs aren't that long.
How
I swear I'm standing up. I'm 5 feet.
Oh my gosh, you're like Angelisa's height, and you're rocking the 300. That's freaking awesome. That's super cool and impressive.
So actually, like that's why I watch Angelisa as well, so I know who she is, because she's a little person like me, and she's rocking a big bike. And Crystal loves motos, same thing. She's I think 5'2". And I just think it's so cool to watch these like smaller women like me like rock these big bikes, and it's just like, all right.
The smaller, I swear, the smaller the girls, the feistier. There was a girl we raced T-Sec, and we had some. We're racing T-Sec. She was from Oklahoma, and we had a group from Carlsbad racing T-Sec, and this girl just kicked our fastest rider's butt. She's itty bitty. She's so cute. Oh my gosh! And my friend Mike, comes back, and he's all, "Did you see that little girl? Did you see her kick my butt? I couldn't even catch her. She's probably like 4'3". Oh, and I met her, and she's just tiny. And I was like, girl, thank you so much for kicking his butt. I'm so proud of you. I was like, please be my best friend. Oh my gosh, she's so fast. Shout out to Josephine Grisham.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, I didn't realize she was that small. Okay.
She's little. Cool. Yeah. She kicked Mike's butt. Oh, she's cool.
That's so awesome. It's really funny to me that with how many women ride, and especially now, there's only one smaller framed dirt bike out there. And for how many women are on the shorter side, you would think that more dirt bike companies would invest in like creating a smaller frame for us, because like, I mean, we need power, but we also need our legs to touch the ground.
Yeah. You would think someone posted the other day like 20% of dirt bikers are now women. And I feel like that's a pretty big, significant amount now. And it seems like every day in these dirt bike forums, like, I just bought a new dirt bike. I am new to riding. And it's women. And so it's like, hello, guys, come on. I feel like more women would ride if there was a bike more suited for a little bit lighter, with some same power. Because, women are a little bit weaker up front and have strong legs. So competing against a man, they could manhandle the bike. just a little bit lighter. But I feel like men were like, oh, I'm gonna pick up that freaking bike. Whatever. It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's kind of funny that I say that and then I ride the bike that I ride, whereas I didn't get the beta. But that's kind of stubbornness partially. But then also, like, I just feel like if more companies had a smaller bike, then we would have more options, like what's comfortable, as opposed to like, you get on a KTM, or you get on, you had your KLX. Those are very different feels. And you should be on what feels most comfortable. And we shouldn't be limited to, what fits our height.
Yeah.
And because at least the ones that I tried, I didn't really like the betas as much. I mean, they were nice, but I don't know, maybe the ones that I was riding weren't tuned right, or maybe the suspension wasn't set for me, so maybe that's why. I don't know, there's a lot of things it could have been, but I just really liked the Husqvarnas that I rode, and it's what felt right to me. But it's so big and I've had to do a lot of suspension work, and I'm probably going to end up having to lower it, and I've had to put the shorter seat on it, and I'm talking about these bars that I might need to get that are different, and that's a lot of things. Like,
that's a lot of
whereas
money.
Exactly,
it's like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Thousands.
And if I had just been able to get a bike that was already kind of set up for that, like, that would have been cool. But again, being able to have that choice where it's not just, hey, this bike is for, smaller people, essentially. Because like in the beginning, I was told that I was never going to get off the TTR. And so that's like, in the beginning, I was like, okay, this is what I'm stuck with for the rest of my life. So,
oh no.
Then I found out about the beta, and, then I figured out that I could probably lower other bikes and things like that. And I don't like to be limited by my size. I've had a lot of people try and count me out of things in life just because I'm so small. And it's just really annoying to me. So like when people tell me that like, oh, you can't ride that bike, I'm like, yeah. You want that?
Have they not watched these like itty bitty ladies just totally destroy other dudes on big bikes? Like, hello.
Yeah. I think that like even like 5 years ago when I first was on a bike, right? Like I was only getting 4 hours of seat time a year roughly. But that was like 5 years ago, and I never saw women out ever. Not my, person that I was with at the time, he never saw women out. Like there wasn't women, hardly any women at the trail rides that we went to. Like maybe one or two, but you didn't really see them. And last year I was at the trail ride in Minnesota, and there was young girls and there was women, and there were just like, they were everywhere. It was freaking awesome. And so like in the last, I would say about 5 years, it's really kind of exploded for women, which is absolutely amazing. And I think that, like you said, those statistics are coming out now that 20% or more are women riders now. So I think that hopefully in the next 5 years or so, we'll have more options for bikes. But
yeah, I think
then
so.
most of us are going to know how to ride the big ones anyway. So,
and you could kind of see like the CRFs now, the like 110s, 150s, they're coming out like white with teal seats, more kind of like geared, little more feminine, I guess, colors, which is I feel like it's an amazing step. You know,
Yeah.
Lasserbees had pink plastics, and I know the dudes love the pink, but it's slowly you're starting to see a little bit trend starting to go towards the female crowd. I like gear still needs to catch up. Man, gear. I know you like you're the Hermoto.
Yep. Yep.
How do you like that? Tell me about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So I started with them with their first line, and then they came out with the Pro Line pant. This last wave of stuff, I guess I don't really know what they call it, but they made upgrades essentially to the pants. So you can still get the old pants, which is like a mid rise, but this one's kind of a little bit of a higher rise.
Nice.
So like for me, I have kind of a bigger lower section.
Okay.
So like when I sit down, you know, the pants were going down and I was like, all right, so leaving the jersey untucked, but then, you know, whoever's behind me is still going to see what they're going to see. So now I have to wear leggings underneath it to make sure nobody's seeing things that they're not supposed to see. And then now I'm getting hot because now I'm wearing leggings and my moto pants, and it's 90 degrees with 90% humidity.
Oof.
So I had decided that when I got to a certain weight, I was going to treat myself and I was going to buy myself the new pants. And so I finally got to that weight, and I really love the new pants because I don't need to wear leggings underneath them. I can just wear like these little like short shorts that I have that, like, you know, I can change in the parking lot and be safe, but I don't need full on leggings now. And it is so much cooler. Like literally, oh my God, I'm not overheating like I was.
That's beautiful.
But I just absolutely love how comfortable they are. And there's like a lot of stretch. And I mean, if I didn't like them, the fact that I lost almost 80 pounds in the last year.
Congrats! That's awesome. That's so cool.
Thank you. But I started in those pants. I bought at, I think it was the largest size that they had at the time, and they didn't fit me, and I lost weight to fit into them. And I really loved those pants or that gear because it was so comfortable. But in the time that I was losing weight, I tried pretty much every other brand out there. At least like the common brands. But I just got my hands on whatever I could secondhand. You know, I'd go on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. And just nothing ever fit right. And I just feel like even, I think it was the Fox stuff, the women's style, I didn't like because it cut into my sides really bad. I'm very hippie. Like I said, like I was just like from here down, I'm just like wider than I should be. Which is fine. I like my body. So
bootylicious.
But it makes it harder to find stuff to ride in, right? Because when a lot of, it's funny, I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. A lot of people have a specific body type in mind when they think of female dirt bikers. And like, I don't know why, because most of the female dirt bikers that I see now are all different sizes. And it's not just super teeny tiny petite women anymore. You know, there's very curvy women. There's even some a little bit heavier women. I mean, I was one of them last year, you know, and I mean, there's women of all sizes. So you need the gear to reflect that. And I think Hermoto has done a really good job about listening to what their customers are saying or what the critiques are. So that's the reason they came out with the high rise pant, was because so many women asked for it. So I don't know if you follow them. I've been following them for a while, but like just seeing all those comments, they really listened to it, and that was really cool. So and their color options are really awesome. Like they do have like a pink one. It's like pink and purple, but it's not just pink. You know, not every girl wants pink. So there's like the dawn color, and like there's a really pretty orange, and like there's just really cool colors. Yeah, the red, that red is so vibrant. Like it's so cool. So I think that's the one that I'm gonna get myself next. I really like that one. I spend way too much money on gear.
I know
It's
when
like,
people are like, wear something nice. I'm like, I got my nice overalls on. Everything else is the dirt bike stuff. I ain't gonna buy
yep,
clothes.
yeah. It's so funny because actually my mom and I were talking about that the other day. I think that I was like, all my clothes are getting too big for me. Like I have very few things that fit me anymore. Most of what fits me is dirt bike stuff, like dirt bike related stuff that I've bought in the last few months, like at the races. Like the shirts that I bought at the races, like are my size, but then like anything I have from 6 months ago or before is all too big. So
That's
it's like,
awesome.
but I made sure that I have gear that fits me.
Yes. Oh,
So,
that's mandatory.
like my gear fits me well. I don't care about my clothes. Like whatever, that could be big
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah.
It's just what matters is the dirt bike
It's
stuff.
true.
So.
No. Yes, ma'am.
But anyway, yeah, I went off on a tangent. But yeah, I do love the Hermoto gear. But I do now that I'm, a more normal to me size, because I had been really sick before. So this to me is normal. Now that I feel like me again, I do want to try other brands and like their women's specific lines, outside of like, I think I tried Fox and Fly were the only ones that I've tried. I like to try them, just so that way I know, maybe there is something more comfortable out there, but I mean, I don't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm not sponsored, so I don't have an allegiance, but it's just comfy. So, and I like being comfy. Doesn't really matter what it is.
yes.
I
I mean, it's
just
athletic gear, so you're moving, you're
exactly,
grooving, you gotta,
exactly,
you just gotta be comfortable. Yeah, there's so much
and
gear that have cut into my sides and stuff. I'm like, this is
Mhm.
not comfortable. Like, I love the Motoralls, but they are not made well. Stink.
Yeah,
Like the quality, I fell in sand and I ripped to shreds my black pair. Like the whole
really.
seam just came apart, like shredded. And
Oh
I wrote
wow.
to Fast House. I was like, "Hey, I love your like the pockets are amazing because I could have so many Uncrustables sitting in there and just chilling." And it was such a disappointment because they're like $250 at the time,
Mhm.
and they're just like, "Well, it's not our problem because you bought it through a different company." And so I was like, "Well, that's great customer service. Like, maybe take my feedback and other people's
Mhm.
feedback and learn from it. Like, do some leather." So I ended up sewing some leather into the, in my calf area and stuff. But
Mhm.
still, if you're paying that much for gear, it should hold up. And
Mhm.
some of the other gear, I'm like, did you wear these when riding these? Do you know how uncomfortable these are? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. But I found a good company, Hemmoto. They reached out to me on TikTok and I was like, okay, I'll try it out. They're kind of like AOT. I don't know if you
Huh.
AOT gear, and I
Yep.
love their
Yep.
colors. Their pants are like yoga pants, and I ended
Ooh.
up getting stitches in my knee from a fall. My pants didn't even rip. Like the rock impaled my skin, and when you look at the kneecap, there's no holes, there's no tearing, and it
Uh-huh.
was crazy to me. And then I broke my leg, and those pants look like they're like, you broke your leg in these pants? I'm like, yeah. You can't even tell. It's cool.
the that's the best advertisement. You need to like look at this and you can send it to them and they can use it for their ad because that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like
The best pants I've ever worn is it's funny because you have her moto and I have hem moto.
yeah, yeah, that's super funny. It's like
Yeah,
a typo, but not quite.
exactly. Yeah, and they're like a mom and pop from the east side, east coast, and super nice people.
Interesting.
And yeah, they're cool. They're cool peeps.
Look at that for sure because I definitely fall a lot, and that is one thing that I really like about the Hermoto stuff has held up to all of the falls that I've had. The stuff that I had last year when I was bigger, I mean, I have like one teeny tiny little rip in it, and that was from a cactus. And that's it though. Like, how many times did I fall in that gear? Oh my God, I can't even tell you. And it's held up. So that's really cool.
And that's hard to find quality good gear, especially with how much you pay for them.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
it is.
An advertisement within itself right there.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just have to just keep exploring. We'll have like a Darcee and Angel series of different gear that we try.
Tried and true gear.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like I fall a lot. If it can handle me, then anybody can, wear it and not have issues. So
yes, exactly.
Oh, funny. Okay, well, I have one thing that I always ask people that I want to make sure I ask you before we get done. If you could pick anywhere to go riding, anywhere in the world, all expenses paid, where do you want to go?
Thailand.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, Thailand has been listening to me talk about it. So my boss went to Thailand recently, and I think, our phones pick up conversations. So I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to do like a tour in like a different country. And so all of a sudden, Thailand dirt bike excursions have been popping up all over Facebook, and it's beautiful over there. Some guy that we follow each other, he was asking actually for someone to come fill a spot in Thailand to come ride. And there's pictures of water buffalo and like, oh, it's beautiful. But I think right now I'm kind of stuck on Thailand. But we're actually planning to go to Costa Rica for an all girls riding trip to celebrate my 5 years of no cancer.
Yes, that's awesome.
If you want to join us, come join us. We're still kind of planning out the logistics. It's like 2025. I still have to get a passport.
Yeah. Well, I have one, so let me know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm excited because my friend Amber, she does, what does she do? She does like medical engineering, and the company she used to work for would fly her to Costa Rica, and she ended up like doing a bunch of dirt bike excursions while working, and her pictures are amazing. And I think Babes in the Dirt or someone does Costa Rica excursions somewhere over and out.
Dirtastic, but I don't know. There's so many, which is really cool in and of itself that there's so many who deal with who work with women. But I don't remember who it is, but I do know I've seen that too.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that would be so cool, but it was so expensive. And I was talking to Amber about it, and she's like, oh, we can get like an aux, but you have to pay for your plane ticket, which is probably the most expensive. She said it was like $1,800 for a full week guided tour, dirt bikes included. I think she said 2 meals or something. I was like, she's like, let's do it for your 5 year. So I was like, I'm down.
That's so cool. I love it. Yeah, man, with all of these trips that I'm starting to plan, I'm gonna be like not in the country at all next year.
Hey, there you go. Do it.
That would be great. I would not complain about that at all.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the cool thing about this, right? Like, we all get to meet up. We could ride together anywhere in the country. But like Micaiah and I talked about Iceland. Like,
cool.
My friend Leah and I have been talking about Spain and, like Costa Rica, like all of these different places. And it's so cool because like we all want to go, and like of course we want to go together for that experience, like the camaraderie. It's so awesome. And like we've never actually met in person, and like this is the closest to in person that we've actually met. We've been talking for 2 years, but we never talked on the phone or anything. And then we're just like, let's do it, let's go. Like, any of the guys listening, this is how women are. Like, this is just what we do. Like, we adopt each other. Like,
I know, we should just pick a spot in the middle of the United States and all meet up one day.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That'd be super.
Oh my god, like that would be It would have to be like somewhere literally like in the middle, like in Missouri. Missouri's supposed to have some really crazy riding, like
I'm down.
good riding.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to talk about that for sure.
I know some lady asked me to come to Washington. She's like, come ride the Desert 100. I'm like, well, I don't have PTO right now. Okay, it's a 24-hour drive. I'll come in like 2 years when I have at least 200 hours of leave.
Yeah. Oh my God. Being out in Idaho was amazing. I'm like, dude, I need to take like 2 months off of work and just go and ride like all in the Pacific Northwest, and then like come back down California, do a tour, come all Southwest, and then like wherever I end up. But
Idaho
I'm like,
crazy. I would love. So I did wildland firefighting forever, and we did a lot of stints right on the Oregon-Idaho border, and I can't even imagine hiking. Like half the time we had to be helicoptered in, and I can't imagine riding dirt bikes on that stuff. And people do.
Those women out in the PNW, man, they're crazy. Like, oh my God, watching some of their stuff, I'm like, that's gnarly. Yeah. They're like, oh, you could totally do it. That's a lot of exposure. Like, I could probably do it, but when there's like half a foot and then like 100-foot drop off because you're on a mountain.
Yeah. No thanks.
But it's so cool though. Like I want to. Like I think I could do it, but it's still scary.
It is. But, it is scary.
I mean, I know what to do in those situations. I've done it on smaller mountains and hills. Yeah. So why wouldn't I be able to do it there? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's one of those things that you get in your head, but it's like, okay, well, if you don't really focus on what's down there, you know, it's the whole don't look down. Then just focus on where you want to go, and you're not going to end up down there.
Oh, hopefully. Yeah. The first time I rode down a mountain was in Cloudcroft, and I rode with Jenny. Jenny's done it before, and she's like, just come with me. And we were on this switchback, and I didn't even my bike was in neutral the whole time. And I hugged the side of the mountain because you could see Alamogordo, White Sands, and it's just a drop. And she's just all like, it's not bad, turning her head, looking at me. I'm like, stop looking at me. Look ahead and look where you're going. And she's like, it's not that bad. And I'm sitting there like shaking. You can see my GoPro like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Let's go to the White Sands and ride. Yeah. But I hugged the mountain the whole way. And we got done. And I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad. A couple times, you know. But it is crazy.
It's one of those things that I think, like, until you're doing it, you're going to be in your head. And then, like you said, you've got to, like, get through it the first time. And then you're like, okay, that wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad.
All right. I can do this.
But then,
like I said, I've done it. Yeah, and you're just like, whoa, I can't believe I did that. Like,
she's just all nonchalant, like she does it, you know, it's just a like, Tuesday.
Yeah, no big deal. Whatever.
Oh gosh.
No.
No thing. They have little nightmares.
Yeah. Those are my nightmares, but like my goals at the same time. Like I really want to be able to do stuff like that. Like I just want to like be able to go anywhere in the country and have it like not be an issue, you know? Like
But you're doing it.
I mean, I'm starting to, yeah. I'm like doing like the baby trails, but like I want to be able to do like the semi gnarly shit. I don't want to necessarily. Well, it'd be really cool to do like the super gnarly stuff, but that's a couple years from now. We'll give it some time for that.
I think it's gonna be a lot sooner than you think because you're traveling and you're riding in all these different areas, and that's the beauty about you is that you're getting all this good experience that you know not a lot of people get and.
Yeah.
And I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. We're going to ride together one day. And I'm like, dude, that chick was a freaking A-class pro. She's like, I don't know why you didn't just wheelie over that big old 50-inch log.
That is my goal before the end of the year, though, is to do like big logs like that. So.
Oh, that's good. You know, when I did a Meg's Brat clinic, you know, like she does all the wheelies, and that's pretty much the clinic focus on doing wheelies over logs. I was like, hey, sister, we don't have trees. And I'm trying to describe it. She's like, you don't have trees? I'm like, we have mesquite bushes with needles and stuff. I'm like, we have pipeline. How would I get over a pipeline? Because it's slick. I hope no one gets me in trouble. And we have like these stay flats. It's big rubber, you know, they're huge. I don't know, the hoses or whatever. And she just could not get the concept. You don't have trees? I'm like, you have oil field. How do I get over the pipes? Like, what would you recommend? They're slippery, they're rubbery. She just could not fathom. I was like, come out, teach a class over this pipeline.
It's hard. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like, you know, I really think that like learning is important to me personally. Like learning the proper way, because I was just thrown on the bike, like I said. And so I was just like, now I want to know how to do things properly. But being a smaller person or having things like that aren't really anywhere else, I think it's really important to have people in that environment or around so they can tell you, okay, this thing is different. So let's take a look at that. Like, how would you get over this? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a technique, but because it is slippery and it's man-made, you know, it's probably going to be different than a log or a rock. I don't know the answer, but,
and it varies too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If they're pumping, like, I don't know, they're fracking for a new well, the pipe or the stay flat, it will sometimes be super hard. And some days it's not as hard, but you can't tell because it looks full. So when I watched my friend, bless his heart, try to wheelie over it, well, he didn't anticipate that big old bounce because there was give in it, and he ate. I thought he died because he's 6'7". He landed on his neck. He wasn't moving. I was like, Cameron's dead. There's no way.
Oh my gosh.
Where? And he laid there silent. I was like, oh my gosh, Cameron. And he's a good rider. I'm like, he's dead. I have nothing. Like, I'll do CPR on this big boy, but how am I going to carry him to safety? And he just gets up. He's like, well, that wasn't as full as I anticipated. Oh my gosh. What did happen? I just wanted to blip over it. And he's like, I should have not blipped over it. I should have just done a normal little soft wheelie. I'm like, how do you know to do that?
Yeah. And like, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do a bunch of different things, but that's gotta be hard. I'd be really interested when you guys figure that out, like what the best way is. It'd be really interesting to know, because that's a really unique thing.
Yeah,
like,
I wish there would
something
be
you're gonna run into. Yeah.
So yay, oil field. I do love you. You pay for our bills, but sometimes you are a little jerky.
You get in the way of our riding.
Yeah,
you make it difficult.
Yeah,
but that's why. Yeah, that's why I believe, like, that's why I want to do in-person clinics, because like I'm doing some online stuff right now, and that's really, really cool, and I love it. I love being able to get the feedback, but also, like, again, I'm worried. I haven't done it yet, but I'm worried that when I'm filming myself, they're not going to be able to see that I'm actually standing and doing the things that I think I'm doing. And I know they're going to correct it, and they're going to be like, okay, you need to do this better. You need to stand up. And I'll be like, I am standing. But you know, having that real-time correction is really cool, and being able to like work through something that comes up like that is really cool. So I like in-person learning, but I'm doing Cody Webb's online platform. So yeah, it's really cool. I really like it so far. I just started this week, but it's laid out super well, and I really really enjoy it so far. I'm learning a lot. So
Oh,
it's
that's cool. I didn't even
pretty
know he was
awesome.
doing it. So, like, do you
Oh yeah.
film yourself and like send it to him? You kind of.
So you can, so you can send it to the community or you can send it to him directly. And then there's just like a bunch of videos and like he talks through like bike setup and stuff like that. So it's really helpful for me because I didn't get a lot of that. And so like some of that stuff kind of went over my head. Even
Yeah.
if people did talk to me about it, I was like, I don't really know what this is. So it's kind of really cool to go through it all and to kind of learn it all. It's laid out like step by step, like start here. All right, you're done with this. Go to the next thing. Okay, now you're done with this. Go to the next thing. And
Oh, that's cool.
it's really easy to follow and I really like it so far. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see kind of how things go when I do send videos. I really think I think it's going to be great because it's the closest thing I can get. Like nobody really comes to the Northeast for like clinics and stuff. So like I talked to somebody at one of the motorsports stores here and he's like, "What's a clinic?" And I was like,
We just know how to ride, Angel. Come on.
wait, yeah. I was just like, okay. All right.
Hey, you should get a hold of Caitlin Kirk.
Yep. Yeah, I talked to her.
Okay, because I think we're talking about her coming over here and doing some clinics, and
Oh, that'd be cool.
she might be down to fly to Maine and set something up. I don't know what her, schedule is like or her costs or anything, but I mean, she seems pretty with it and wants to expand.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm only here until the end of July, but
okay, never mind.
I don't know if anyone's gonna get out here before then.
You should come to New Mexico.
That's been part of my thing is like I don't know where my next job's gonna be, so it's kind of like in the air right now. I'm applying places, but I don't know where I'm going yet. So it's hard to plan and be like, hey, this person has a clinic here, I could do that. But then like I don't know where I'm gonna be, so I don't know if that's gonna be close. I don't know if that's gonna be far. Like, I don't know. I don't know right now.
Man,
so.
I hope you get a job close to New Mexico.
Yeah. There has to be jobs open in New Mexico right now. So
or Texas.
There's nothing in Texas or New Mexico. But actually right now, the only jobs that are open are Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio, and Missouri.
Oh, dang. Hey, Missouri's not too far from New Mexico. It's like 12 hours, 14 hours. That's a day.
That's like 14, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like literally in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Like, there's not anything where they want me to go. And I'm like,
Do you like to work in the mines? The mine is very
So yeah, I just like I don't know where I'm gonna end up. I did put in for Johnson City, Tennessee.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see. They've got a pretty decent sized airport, and it's pretty close to some of the places that I've ridden and want to ride. So, and it's a 3-month contract. So after that, I'm hoping that in like 3 more months that, some place in the Southwest will open up and I can come back home.
That's crazy. But, do you like to travel?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, it's really kind of cool, being able to just kind of take a 3-month stint and make a decent amount of money and then go to the next place. And, you can do anything for 12 weeks. So, I actually really like it here. It's just really expensive in Maine. Yeah.
My grandma lives in Vermont. My whole family's from Vermont. My biological family. My kid is in Vermont. So if you ever want to see a little mini me, he's just right down the street from you. But my grandma has tried to convince me for years to move to Vermont. And just looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, no land, it's just like $500,000 or I can't. And the median income for a firefighter over there is still the same over here. And I
Yep.
live on an acre and a half, and I have a 4-bedroom house. I mean, it's a double wide, but who cares? I don't care. I live with boys. I don't care. But I'm like, how do people afford to live over there? I don't get
Yeah.
it. I'm not
I
gonna
don't know.
job.
But I've lived in the Southwest, I've lived in the Midwest, and there's a lot of people out here.
It's pretty
And
dense.
it's just, yeah, it's very dense. And it's just like, okay, I guess there's a lot of tourism here in Maine. So it's gotten super packed. And the first time I went to the trails out here, there was nobody out there. I was like, all right, this is cool. And the last time I went to the trail that's kind of close to my house, there was so many people. And I didn't even take my bike off of the hitch because I was like, no, there's so many side by sides. Like as I was parking, I saw 4 side by sides come whipping out of the trails. And I was like, they're going completely sideways at like, who knows how fast. But it was just, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come and ride around that. Like they're just bombing down these trails. So,
Yeah.
and fine. That's fine. But I'm also a teeny tiny dirt bike, and dirt bike versus side by side isn't going to go very well. So I found a completely different trail system, and there was still a lot of people on it, but there was one section that's more technical, and there wasn't anybody on that one. So that's the section like that I've been doing, and it's like a couple miles. And then I found another area that was pretty cool that I want to do next time I go out. That's like, I think it's 9 miles or something like that. So I'm gonna do that on Thursday. So that'll be really cool. But it's just, I don't know. It's just really crazy. But I'm really glad that they don't like technical stuff like in the side by sides here. They just want to go fast.
Yeah.
So like there's like a bunch of sand pits and stuff, and like I can just skirt around the top of it because it's like a 5-foot drop down into those things, and they should just mess around in there, and it's just like, all right, have fun. And then I just go off onto the technical trails. So
nice.
and it's making me feel real good because all these people are like, you're going into that technical trail. Like, that's really gnarly. And like, even the couple guys that I've run into on dirt bikes, they're like, it's really gnarly back there. Like, are you going to be okay? And I'm like, it's fine. I'll be all right. And like the first time the guy was like, oh, this is the most technical section in this part of the state. He's like, you've got to go to like northern Maine to get more technical than this. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. And he's like, yeah, there's like rock gardens and like big like hill climbs. And I was like, all right. And he's like, are you sure you want to go that way? And I was like, well, I at least want to go check it out. Like, if I can't make it, if it's past like what I can do, I can just turn around, right? And he's like, oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So I was like, all right, cool. Went off, and it's a loop, right? So he's like, I'm just gonna be hanging out here. He goes, it should take you about 2 hours to do the loop. And I was like, okay. He's like, so I'll meet you back here in 2 hours, and if you're not here, I'll go backwards to make sure that you're okay. And I was like,
nice.
Sure, yeah, that's great. This was like a guy and his kid or whatever. And so cool, awesome. I set off, and I was like, at least I have somebody to come rescue me if I, and I'm going, and all right, hit a little rock section, cool, some roots, cool, giant mud puddle, and then immediate uphill with like a slab rock. And I was like, okay, cool, made it up that. All right, cool.
Oh, nice.
Now we're going downhill, and it's pretty rocky downhill. And that used to be my downfall last year, but it's not an issue anymore.
Yeah.
And I make it through that. And next thing I know, I'm back out at the front of the trail. And I was like, what? I was like, that was it? What happened to the technical spot? Like,
dang.
So I don't know if it's just like, I know it wasn't that technical. It wasn't. Like, if I can do it, it was not that hard. There was one spot on the uphill that kind of, I was like, ooh, that was all right. Like, I had to really like feather my clutch, but I was able to do it. And I did it 2 more times. And then I was like coming out of it that third time, the guy was like, "Oh, you made it." And I was like, "Yeah, I just did it the third time." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "That usually takes us like 2 hours to do." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "I don't know."
That's
But
cool.
like I said, I don't think it was, to me, it wasn't that technical. I don't know if it's just because I've ridden other places and I've ridden more technical stuff, or I don't think it's because I'm that good, because I'm not.
You're awesome.
But I feel really cool when I get to do stuff like that. But it was really awesome because then like the kid was asking me for pointers on the hill. And I was like, I mean, he's not like a little kid. He was like probably 17 or something. But I was just like, yeah, this is like what I do. And like, I don't really know how to explain it. And I was like, you want to watch me go up it? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I did it again, and like I did it just fine. And then I came back down, and they were like, you just make that look so easy. And I was like, I don't. It is.
You're like, because it is easy.
And I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, because it's all subjective. Like a year ago in Minnesota, I would have looked at that hill and been like, hell no. But again, it's a new bike. It's, you know, I have confidence now. I have a little bit more experience. I'm calling myself an experienced beginner now. And like, you know, it makes a big difference. So I think that getting out there and riding different terrain, it may be uncomfortable, but it really makes you a better rider. Like if you're just doing the same thing all the time, cool, if that's where you always want to stay. But if you really want to get out and explore, I mean, I recommend it. Like figure out where you can rent a bike. Everybody knows about Ready to Ride rentals, right? Yeah. You can fly to Arizona and get a bike in Arizona and go ride, or one of their adventure trips that they have. You know, Costa Rica, we talked about. There's so many places that you can go and just rent a dirt bike. And like, yeah, $1,800 sounds like a lot, but when you get the bike, sometimes those include gear. Most of the time it includes food. Usually it includes lodging. Like, that's a really good deal.
Especially if you're going to probably tear up their bike a little bit, you know, you got to be like, okay, it's going to cost a little bit because they have to repair what you're riding. So I think it's a great deal. And like Darcee Abbott too, he offers clinics in Arizona, and he could rent a bike. So if you ever get a chance, you need to do a clinic with him. He is so cool.
Yeah, he's on my list. When I get back to Arizona, I want to.
Yeah, we're trying to get a girls' trip to his house.
Yes. Oh my God, let me know. 100%. You guys, I should just give you my paychecks. Be like, all right, what are we doing this time? Here you go.
Oh man, it's just hard. Everyone's schedules are so different, and I think that's the hardest part. Just trying to figure out everyone's race schedules and work schedules, and trying to get everyone together. And if only we all work the same. Or if we didn't.
I know, right? I was just gonna say that. I was like, too bad we don't work.
Yeah. But I like working. I try to be a stay-at-home mom. It was miserable. It was so hard. It was like isolating and sad.
I would totally not be good at that, because I would be like, all right, brand new newborn baby, you're going to be on a bike. No, we're going to go ride.
Oh, we got a little 50 P-dub.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're old enough. You're 5 weeks. It's all right.
Kind of sticking up a little bit. You got it.
Yeah, I definitely think that, I mean, like I said, there's just so many options for people to just go. And I mean, it's hard and it's scary to ride a new place, but I mean, if you can ride something new, like I said, it makes you a better rider, and it builds your confidence so much. Oh my God, I'm ridiculously confident now compared to last year. And you know, it's not just because like I lost weight or whatever. It's just like, honestly, I don't think I would have nearly this much confidence if I didn't have my bike. I don't think that I would feel this good if I wasn't making the progress I'm making with this bike, because this bike is badass. I freaking love this bike. And being able to like, you know, figure it out, work in harmony with it, like that makes me feel really good and makes me feel really confident. So that's why I want more women to like to get into this, because I know where I started and what I felt like when I started and where I am now. And every single time I get on the bike, like there's a reason he's called Happy. And it's because every time I'm on him, I just have this big dumb smile on my face because it's just so much fun. I don't care if I'm going 3 miles an hour. I don't care if like, you know, I'm falling over. I don't get frustrated by that stuff. Like it's annoying sometimes, you get like overheated or whatever and you're just like, oh my God, can I stop? But you know, then you fall into a puddle and you feel fine. But it's just like, it's so much confidence and so cool. And then if you get to share that with other people, your friends, family, whatever, like that makes it even better. And I just want everybody to feel the way that I feel when I'm on my bike. Like if I can bottle that and give it to people, I totally would. But like, I don't know how to do that. So
yeah, it's hard. But
yeah.
it's so fun. I love bikes.
It is. It is the best. The absolute best. Well, I didn't mean for us to run into 2 hours, but we did because this is awesome. But is there any anything that you want to talk about? Any shout outs, anything like that before we go?
Shout out to all the baddies out there, all you ladies.
Yeah.
There's so many to name.
And where can we find you on social media?
What am I on TikTok?
Darsupial.
Oh, Darcee. And then on Instagram is what? Midlife crisis mom or something.
Yeah,
like that.
you're like so many things on so many different. Everything is a different. Let's see. Hold on. I gotta know for sure. You are.
Yeah, my nickname in cross country was Darcee.
Midlife crisis mama.
Yeah, because it's true.
Midlife crisis mama, Darcee on TikTok. You have her name here, Darcee.
I am
it's all the same badass person, same awesomeness, just in different socials.
I like to keep it different. Yeah. And if you want to check out Tex-Mex Moto, it's our ladies group.
Yes, actually, like you can do this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So that way people get it right. So it's all the specific underscoring.
Yeah,
Tex underscore Mex Moto underscore.
Man, finding a girl's name for a dirt bike community is hard because all the cool ones are taken. Like I was trying to find like desert not demons. I can't even think now. What's the other female name?
Like Diva?
But not Diva, Damsel, Desert Damsels. That was taken, or just like a bunch of different names. I'm like, oh my gosh! And now my husband's like, it sounds like a salsa company. We're not even in Mexico. I'm like, everyone thinks New Mexico is Mexico. We're pretty much on the border.
Exactly. I like Tex-Mex. I thought that was crafty.
I was like, well, we're right on the border of Texas, and I mean, Texas is literally 20 miles east of us, so we're just like, might as well. And one day a girly name will pop up or something.
Yeah, you'll find something eventually, but I really like it. I think it's unique and it's really cool. And I like the little helmet that you made now.
Oh, that wasn't me. Oh my gosh. Elena created that. She's like a programmer, coder, and she's like, hey, let me make up your little thing. And I was trying to draw it, and it was all like, I was like, it'd be cool to have like a deserty helmet. And she's like, oh, I got something better. So she did a barrel cactus helmet.
That was so cute.
Yeah, she designed the ladies moto ride too. And I love the colors she picks. She does a good job. So
yeah, she did awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited to
That's
see some
great.
more.
Yeah, and that's just here in a couple weeks, right?
It's next weekend. Yeah.
Next weekend. Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
came
it's
fast.
yeah, it is. So we're gonna go scout out this weekend. Put some flagging out. I'm kind of nervous. So we got 6 definites, and we had shout out to D Square Trials for she's giving some gifts away for the thing. And I got Jerry's donated some prizes, and I'm making spaghetti for everyone.
Ooh, awesome.
It's gonna be. I think
That'll be really cool.
I think so. I've never ridden here. It's the one of T-Sex, Texas race place at the Cap Rock, and it's really pretty. The pictures I see is pretty, so I'm really excited. I hope it goes okay.
Awesome. See, and you're doing what we just said. You're getting out and you're riding somewhere new. So
yeah, I am pumped. Yeah, it's Lindsay. It's like a lease in Texas. You know, you have to lease like a golf course or golf club.
Yeah.
So her dad was all, "Hey, why aren't you riding on our lease? Because we were gonna do it at the Canadian River and it's public." And he's like, "No, let me talk to the president." And the president was like, "I would love to have a bunch of girls camp out." So I was like, really cool because it's expensive to go to it, and they're offering for free, so you can't.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm so pumped.
That's so awesome. Well, it's really cool. Yeah, thank you. I think it's awesome that you guys are getting these events. It's so cool, and I will be making it to one eventually. I will get back to that side of the world.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy how just like talking to someone opens new doors, because Clovis, New Mexico, they have this old track, beat up track. Well, this company, Beast Mode Power Sports, ended up buying this track. And so they had people from North Carolina come prep the track, do amazing work. And so they're trying to get their name out there. So I was like, hey guys, what would you guys think about having like a women's moto camp out for the weekend at your place? And they were like, we would love to. When do you want to do it? I was like, let's talk logistics. How much would it cost to stay for the whole weekend? Because more people will come if you camp versus a day. Yeah. And they gave me a ballpark, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to find a coach to do like a little mini clinic. We got that secured. And it's just cool how like everyone's just kind of like, I want to come help and I want to come do it. So now it's just finding the time. And like another place was like, I want you to have a women's clinic over here. So it's just like, okay, I'm getting a little overwhelmed. So it's like, it's cool. I hope it's becoming a thing. I want it to like be a safe place for women to learn, to ask questions, and will not be so intimidating. Guys can be intimidating. We talked about it.
They can be. They can be. But it's just cool to have, like, for lack of a better term, a safe space. You know, to just go and just ride. And, you know, a lot of times, especially for the women who are just learning, we're a little slower and we just need to get comfortable. And so, like, I'm better at technical than fast. So I'm still very slow, but, you know, I have fun. And that's all that matters. So, but I know that not everybody supports that. You know, there's a lot of people who are like, stay off of the trail if you're going slow. And it's like,
how are you going to get past? Yeah,
exactly. So, you know, it's cool to have these kinds of events to build our confidence. And then maybe the next time I go out on the trail after something like that, then I am a little bit more confident to go faster. And, you know, I've seen a little bit more terrain, and so I can feel better about it. And so I think it's just helpful, and in a super supportive community. So
yeah, it is awesome.
I love it. I love seeing it. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep being awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, because this was so cool.
It was fun. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course.
I know. Now I gotta get I have a craft barn. I need to get it like set up so I could like have not my bedroom in the background. My Christmas tree next time.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, full dirt bikes. But yeah, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time and asking me.
Thank you.